Bum 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 ba ba bum ba da bum ba da dum ba da dum bum bum Carn Dum. Oh crap. I don't want to play Carn Dum. It is hard and I will lose. So let's hide this box and never speak of it again. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum. Put it somewhere out of sight. Keep it secret, keep it safe. Do-do-do, do-do-do. This should be good. Do-do-do, do-do-do. Do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do. Oh boy, we are in the clutches of Carn Dum. Here we go. All right, setup. We're going to add Tharandir to the staging area. Captain side face up. 1 copy of the Carn Dum garrison per player to the staging area. We're going to make the accursed battlefield the active location. And then we're going to give the encounter deck a shuffle. Man, oh man, is this a hard quest. You can easily die on turn 1, even with a dedicated defender. We're going to need some luck. This is going to take a few tries. I know it is. All right, let's take a look at side B. Side 1B is 15 quest points. Tharandir cannot leave the staging area and cannot take damage. At the end of the round, if Tharandir is the champion side face up, we flip him. We do not discard unresolved shadow cards at the end of the combat phase. That's different. And then forced, if there are 3 shadow cards dealt to Tharandir, we flip him. And remember, the shadows are super nasty, and so is Tharandir. He's a 50 engagement, 4/6/4/9. Undead Wraith, Captain, indestructible, cannot have attachments. Each enemy gets +10 engagement cost after Tharandir is flipped, or a treachery card with the sorcery trait is revealed. We're going to deal each enemy in play a shadow card. We also have a Carn Dum garrison in the staging area. He's a 40, but he's 50 with Tharandir right now. 1/4/3/5. And then he gets +1 threat for each shadow card under him. And then the active location is the accursed battlefield. It's 3 progress, but it makes us use battle questing. Let's look at our heroes. We got some new ones. We got Amarthiel. So Marty is a 10 threat, 1/3/3/3. Dunedain Ranger Warrior. While you are engaged with at least 1 enemy, he also gains the tactics resource icon. And then if I'm engaged with 2 enemies at least, I get an additional resource during the resource phase. So that's pretty awesome. I'm also bringing Damrod. He's a 9 threat lore 2/2/1/4 Gondor Ranger. Reduce the cost of the first trap card I play by 1 to a minimum of 0, and then response after an enemy is trapped, I'm going to get to draw a card. And according to the official release schedule, Damrod came out like 2 weeks after this quest, but he also came out at Gen Con because we got the Saga Deluxe early at Gen Con. So I'm saying that those cards were available for this quest because they were to me. All right, we also have Lore Aragorn, so we've seen him many times. 12 threat, 2/3/2/5, and then I can drop my threat back down to my starting threat during the refresh phase. I also have my custom tracker with our starting threat of 31. And you guys ready to see some losses? So let's see some losses. I want to take a guess. How many times do I lose before I get a win? So this was my first game. I got a trap in staging, so I was hoping to snare an enemy. The first card I revealed is Orc Ambush, so that stinks because now I have to find an orc and put it in play engaged with me. So he skips the trap. So I'm going to grab these orc grunts since they have Doomed One and Surge. So I get to skip that. That's nice. But yeah, I was really hoping to, trap an enemy, not have it engage me. So now I got to take this attack undefended since I wasn't planning on being engaged by anything. And the shadow says flip Tharandir. So he's going to attack for 6 and kill one of my heroes. All right, turn 1. Awesome. All right, let's try this again. So my plan is, this is a deck that a lot of people have used to beat this quest. I had to modify it because of only 1 core set. But basically, engage a couple enemies and put them in forest snares. That lets me play Dunedains for cheap because I can use Heir of Lindiel to help pay for those guys. They will be defending for a lot if I'm engaged with more enemies. They can help me quest. I'm just basically building a board state that will let me beat stage 2. And in order to do that, I have to survive the first 3 rounds or so. It's pretty hard, but it can be done. This is a great opening hand. I got Forest Snare. I have the Ranger of Cardolan, so I can actually engage an enemy. The Ranger will defend it. I can then trap that enemy in the Forest Snare. I have Will of the West in the deck, so I can shuffle my discard pile back into my deck, which is very important in this quest. And this playthrough was actually going really well, except I could not catch a break with the encounter cards. I just kept revealing threat after threat after threat. I was actually hoping for a sorcery, just something that didn't add threat, but every enemy and every location I revealed, I could just barely muscle up enough allies and other tricks to quest over it. I just wasn't making any progress, and eventually I just withered away and died. I couldn't overcome what was happening in the staging area, and I had to keep sending everybody on the quest so I could not have my threat go up like crazy, because I only can trigger Aragorn once. So basically, this was a slow death, but I feel like the deck worked. I just got really unlucky with the encounter cards just piling up so much threat, I couldn't overcome it. Attempt number 3 was an incredibly interesting way to lose this quest. I didn't really anticipate this happening, and it actually made me make a little change to my deck. So a decent opening hand, just nothing special, but also pretty good. I got a trap in play, and I had a Song of Travel in my hand because I need to get access to Spirit somehow, so I can play Test of Wills and Will of the West and Northern Trekkers. And so I reveal a treachery that says I have to randomly discard a card from my hand, and then I also have to search my deck for another copy of that card and discard it. So what happened is the random card that I have to discard is my Song of Travel, which means I have to now discard my second and only other copy of Song of Travel, which makes all those spirit cards useless. So I added Clebrian Stone to the deck so Aragorn could get spirit from that. Well played, Carn Dum. Well played. Attempt number 4 was really a punch to the gut because I thought I had a great opening hand. I mean, look at this thing. Sneak Attack Gandalf and a Feint. I had a good Quester. I had card draw. I had Favor of the Valar. I mean, it was a great opening hand. I was so excited. I just needed access to Spirit so I could cancel some treacheries because I did draw a Test of Will. But look what happens in the first staging. Are you kidding me? So I sneak in Gandalf to draw 3 cards, and I draw a trap that I'm going to be able to use next turn, so that's great. And then it's battle questing, and so I send everybody. Ranger of Cardolan can protect me, so I can make some good progress here and get rid of that battle questing because I will get more willpower. And I get a surging side quest that is really a pain to try to clear because it makes it just hard to have combat. Everything is harder. Okay, so that surges. So it's going to surge into another surging card that's doomed 1. Okay, and then that surges into, oh God, are you kidding? Another side quest that makes me grab an orc. So now the orc grunt is going to engage me, and I have to find a different orc that's engaging me. I only had 1 defender, so now I'm getting attacked by 2 enemies when I really was kind of hoping to get attacked by none, and they're all boosted too. The orc ambush boosts all these orcs. So I use the ranger to defend 1, I take 1 undefended and almost die from it, and we go into the next round. I get another ally in, and what happens is I reveal a sorcery, so everyone gets a shadow card, and then they're all going to get a second shadow card during combat. And these guys are both hitting for 3, and this is what happens in combat. I feint the Agmar Orc, and then I defend with a Marthiel here, and its attacking enemy gets +3 if the enemy's engagement cost is less than your threat. So, a Marthiel's dead. So by this time, yep, I'm feeling pretty frustrated. I just can't seem to get anything going, even though during playtesting of this deck, it seemed to work pretty good. My opening hand's pretty good. I got Ranger Spikes, I got Gandalf. The first treachery makes me discard the top 3 cards in my deck. One of them was Steward, so that wasn't very good. I play a Master of the Forge, and then I draw a sneak attack, so I think I have a shot. So we go into the questing phase of the next round. And I'm really hoping to get an enemy, because I want to get it just trapped in that trap. And then I can use sneak attack and Gandalf to start engaging things and hopefully put a forest snare on them. But instead, I get this. The Sky Darkens. Remember this one? The one that made me discard both of my Songs of Travel? Alright, so once again, I have to discard a random card from my hand. There's one card I really don't want to lose, and that's Sneak Attack. If I lose Sneak Attack, then my whole plan... Alright, yep, and then I just rage quit. I was done. I was done. Alright, let's try it again. So I think this was a really good representation of why Carn Dum is so hard. Even with a really good opening hand, you can lose on turn 1. If you don't have a dedicated defender, I mean, even if you did, the shadows are so nasty. It's just a very hard quest. It just hits you so hard, so fast, and you just need a couple things to go right. And even if you do get your footing underneath you, you can still lose pretty easily. The shadows are just terrible. And with Burning Brand being errata'd, it's hard to cancel all the shadows. So you just have to figure out a way to weather them. All right, let's look. Daron's Runes, Rain Dragon Sneak In, Sneak Attack. Ooh, okay, Feint. Okay, this is another good hand, no trap. But I like the Feint. And what would really be great is if I could grab a Forest Snare. Then I can engage an enemy, feint it, and then snare it the next round. Okay, I don't get Forest Snare, but I do get some poisoned stakes or spikes. All right, Daron's Runes is going to draw me 2 cards. More card draw and the Heir of Elendil. That's great. Let's discard this Spirit ally. I don't have a way to put him into play right now. Doom 2 to draw 2 cards. Hey, all right, there's Forest Snare, and there's another good defender. Okay, so good hand. So I'm going to obviously play, because I've already started the round. But, I mean, this is the kind of hand where you're thinking, I have a shot. I have a pretty good shot of beating the quest. I just need a little luck from the encounter deck. And you can see I forgot to put the Accursed Battlefield out. I shuffled it in on accident. No worries, I get kind of lucky with what happens here. But, yeah, if I could get an enemy that I don't need to engage... Or basically I just can't have a sorcery discard cards from my hand. I would like to keep all the cards from my hand. So let's just see what I get here. Okay, and then there's the Accursed Battlefield. That made me realize I never put it on top. And then we do get an enemy that I don't need to engage right now. That draws me a card. So I get another Heir of Elendil. And I actually don't have to raise my threat. So that went really well. I can engage something and play Feint and then snare it. So that's ideal. That's like exactly what I would hope to do on turn 1. So I'm going to engage that orc there, and then he's going to get 1 shadow instead of 3, but it doesn't matter because I'm playing Feint. So it's just so scary defending against any of these guys when they have 3 or 4 shadows coming at you. But the Feint stops him from attacking, and then because the attack never went off, the shadow card stays in play. And then I draw Daron's Runes at the start of the next turn. And we do get a Test of Will and another Ranger. So now I need to discard a card, but I have a second copy of Heir of Elendil, so I can get rid of that. All right. I am going to play Forest Snare, and this guy is going to be trapped with me. So that costs 2 resources, and I get to draw a card thanks to Damrod, and I get a nice Dunedain ally. So now the Heir of Elendil can go on a Dunedain hero, and I can exhaust it to reduce the cost of a Dunedain ally by 1, because I have 1 enemy engaged with me. What I really, really want now is access to Spirit, so I can use that Test of Will. Okay, at the end of the round, that orc up in the staging area should have taken 2 damage from the poison stakes, and we are going to still battle quest. So I'm sending 8 against 7, and we do get the Agmar Orc. He has a when revealed, either reveal additional card or discard an ally. I don't have an ally. And then this is a sorcery I would have loved to cancel, but I can't. So I need to discard the top 3 cards of my deck. Okay, there goes one of my Wills of the West. There goes a Feint. Oh my god, and there goes another Will of the West. That's both of them. I can't shuffle my discard pile back in. I don't have Dwarven Tomb. So that really, really stinks. The good news is they were all events, So it only added 2 threat, but oh man, losing my other feint and both Will of the Wisps really hurts. Really, really hurts. Shuffling in my discard pile is a huge strategy for this quest, and I can't do it now. Okay, that was a sorcery, so Tharandir told me to give everybody a shadow card. And as I said earlier, the more shadow cards these enemies get, the more dangerous they are to defend. Okay, so all the enemies have plus 10 engagement. The only enemy I have to engage is the Agmar Orc, and he's going to be attacking for 2. I have a way to defend him. So then in combat, everybody gets a shadow card, even the one snared in the trap. So this Agmar Orc has 2 shadows, but I can spend a resource from engaging him to pop in the Ranger of Cardolan, and he will be my defender. Let's just see how bad these shadows are. So he's already attacking for, I believe it's 2. And then, okay, all right, that is heavy curse times 2. I am very happy to see those go away. All right, so I lost my 2 Will of the West, but then 2 heavy curse also got basically out of the encounter deck. I'm not going to reveal them. So well, that's good. That sorcery really sucks. So good news. Small victories. Okay, so the I think it's Agmar Marauder is dead from the stakes. Ooh, there goes another Terror from the North or whatever that one's called. So that's good to see go away. So I did lose a couple really good treacheries to shadows. So I'm glad to see those treacheries not get revealed. And you saw I drew the sword that was broken. So that's great because that's going to boost my willpower. But right now I need to battle quest. Let's spend 2 leadership resources to put in the Heir of Elendil. I'm going to exhaust it to reduce the cost of the next Dunedain ally I play by 2 because I'm engaged with 2 enemies. And the Dunedain that I want to play is the Guardian of Arnor. He gets +1 defense for each enemy I'm engaged with. So right now he's defending for 3. All right, let's battle quest again for 8. I'm only up against 4. And the card we reveal is another Carn Dum garrison. All right, so that is enough progress to clear the accursed battlefield. So now we can quest with willpower. I'm going to deal out the shadow cards to the one in the Forest Snare first because he has the higher engagement. And then the Agmar Orc will attack my guy that defends for 3. And we get attacking enemy gets +1 if it destroys a character, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, it was 3 against 3, so no one got destroyed. And we can go into the next round. I like being engaged with these 2 enemies because it makes the Heir of Elendil work better. I would like to snare it in a trap, though. Okay, so we draw Deep Knowledge, and you noticed Amarthiel gained an extra resource because I now am engaged with 2 enemies, and I do draw a Forest Snare, so that was really great. So I'm going to snare that Orc, and then that draws me a card with Damrod, and I get the Ranger Spikes, and I believe I'm just going to pay full price for that. I'm going to get that up in staging. Damrod decreases the cost of the first trap you play. But I would love to trap another enemy up in staging. Hopefully it's not one of those Orc Grunts. Those are the ones that make it harder to quest. They reduce the progress placed by 1. So I do have a trap up in staging that will make it so you do not make engagement checks against the attached enemy. And I have 2 enemies snared in Forest Snares. So this is going really well. This is looking promising. I could still lose. Ooh, yes! Yes! That was great. That is a great enemy to snare. So I draw another card, and then here I make a mistake. I think I'm still battle questing. I should have just quested even. So I shouldn't have made any progress. But don't worry, later on in the video, I realized that I had made some willpower and questing mistakes, and I adjust the progress back down. So don't worry about what the dice says on the quest card there. I do eventually get it right. All right, so 3 enemies trapped. So that's really good. And I draw another trap. So let's put that poison spikes up in the staging area. Okay, so I am going to play the sword that was broken on Aragorn. So he now has the leadership icon, and all of my characters have +1 willpower. I will exhaust the Heir of Elendil going to reduce the cost of the next Dunedain ally I play by 2. And let's put in the Dunedain Watcher. She can be discarded to cancel a shadow effect. And she doesn't have to be exhausted or anything to do that ability. So I can send her on the quest for 2, and if I have to trigger her in combat, I can still have used her this round to quest. So she's a really great ally. All right, and the card reveal is another enemy. My God, nothing but enemies. Okay, so I either have to discard an ally from play or reveal another card. Honestly, with this quest, discarding an ally is actually the better choice, in my opinion, right now. So I am going to discard one of my defenders, unfortunately, but I just, revealing cards is so risky. Okay, and the trap drew me a Vassal of the Windlord, so he obviously helps me attack and also is great for battle questing. So I make some progress. Again, ignore what the actual die says. I will get it right later on in the video. I am going to engage the Agmar Orc. He's attacking for 2, and Marty is ready. But first we got to deal out the encounter cards. I'm sorry, the shadow cards. So there goes a bunch of shadow cards. And he only has 1 shadow card on him, so it's okay, but you know, the shadows are still really bad, but I do have the safety net with that Watcher that I can discard to cancel a really bad shadow. So Marty will defend, and the shadow is add Orc Grunts to the staging area. Okay, that's not worth canceling. So Orc Grunts go up to the staging area, which is kind of nice because you avoid the Doomed, you avoid the Surge, and that Agmar Orc is going to take 2 damage at the end of the round, so he should die next turn, but it makes my Heir of Valindio a little better, and we get the Favor of the Valar. Yes! This is huge tech against this quest. So you attach it to your threat dial, and if you would ever be eliminated by threat, you drop your threat back down to 5 below your elimination level. So it's a safety valve in addition to Lore Aragorn. Okay, well, Heir of Valindio gets a cost reduction of 3. So the Ranger of Cardolan comes in for 1, but he gets to stay. All right, and then I'm going to play 2 Eagles because Amarthiel has the Tactics icon. So there we go. And the only thing I'm missing at this point really is access to Spirit. I do have that Test of Will in my hand, but I can't play it. So I would love access to Spirit at this point. Okay, committing to the quest, I am going to send the Vassal for 1 more. It has 1 willpower thanks to the sword. Ooh, oh no. Okay, this is one I would have loved to have canceled. So I have to flip Tharandir. And when you flip him, he makes an immediate attack. So that means he's going to get dealt a shadow card, and he's going to be attacking with 3 shadow cards. He's a 4/6, 4/9. All the enemies get -10 engagement, which is terrible. And yeah. And then if a sorcery gets revealed, he's going to attack. But the quest card lets me flip him back at the end of the round to the captain side. But still, really terrible. Really terrible. I'm getting attacked for 6 with 3 shadows right now. So I'm not very happy about that. That is a treachery I would have loved to have canceled. So there's the 3rd shadow. And yep, that Vassal of the Windlord is going to jump in front of it there. So let's see. Attacking enemy gets +1. If it destroys an ally, he goes back up to staging. Ooh, we flip Tharandir after this attack. Okay, that's nice. Oh, did he only have 2 shadows? I'm sorry. I thought he had 3 shadows. Yeah, he only had 2 shadows. Okay, so he's going to flip. And then when he flips, you have to deal a shadow card to every enemy in play. So that's, 7 shadow cards getting milled out of the deck right now? So I do, of course, lose the eagle, but that wasn't the worst thing that could have happened. So the eagle is dead. Thank you for 1 cost to defend that attack. That was totally worth it. A bunch of shadow cards got dealt out, so those Carn Dum Guardians get +1 threat for each shadow card dealt to them, but the Ranger Spikes cancel 2 threat, so it gets very confusing to keep track of how much threat is actually in staging. So this is why I make a couple mistakes with my questing, and I actually stopped the video at one point just to watch it and see if I was actually calculating my willpower and everything correctly, because I started to realize that it was very possible I wasn't. I got quite the stack of cards underneath those snared enemies, and here come 2 more. So when you advance to stage 2, if you've played this quest before, you know what's going to happen. And so that's why the Favor of the Valar is such an important card for this quest. Okay, so we got 2 shadows on the Agmar Orc, 2 shadows on the Orc Grunts, and they are both attacking. So that's scary. I would have loved to have had a feint at this point. So I'm going to defend. He's defending for 5. And no shadow there. And, ooh, there goes the other heavy curse. Okay, that's great. Okay, so I take no damage there. He defended for 5 against 2. And then this shadow says the attacking enemy gets +1/+3 if my threat is higher than its threat. And then if the attacking enemy is Tharandir, he heals damage. Okay, I am going to spend the Watcher to cancel that one that would have killed the Ranger. Technically, I think I would have had to say I was using the Watcher before I looked at the next shadow card. I'm pretty sure that would have been the right way to do it. So let's just say I used her when I knew he was going to die and then took a gamble on the next card. So at any rate, the Ranger of Cardolan is not dead. Okay, so I was able to attack with a Marthiel to do 2 damage to the Grunts. The spikes killed the other Orc, so now I'm only engaged with 1 enemy that will actively be attacking me. I don't have any more Forest Snares in my deck because I'm playing with 1 core set, and you only get 2 Forest Snares, which stinks. And I also only had 2 feints. Okay, Master of the Forge is a card I have been really hoping to find, so I hope he finds me a Song of Travel. Okay, nope. No, there it is! Okay, I got my Song of Travel, so now I can play a Test of Will to cancel stuff. So I think you can see how this deck can win against this scenario. It's just, you gotta have time to set things up. You gotta get going, and this quest does not let up on you. It hits you so hard right from the get-go that you just need to survive. All right, so I can play this East Road Ranger for free. She's Dunedain, and she gets a cost reduction of 3. So if there is ever a side quest, she's going to quest for 3. But she also attacks for 2 and has 1 willpower. All right, so committing characters to the quest. Remember, everybody gets +1 willpower thanks to the sword that was broken. And I am questing against 6. And the card we reveal is another accursed battlefield. That's great. I mean, as long as it's not a treachery or some horrible enemy, I will take a location. It's the first location we've actually revealed this entire game. And so we will travel there after placing some progress. I don't need to engage anything because all the enemies are +10 engagement. So let's just deal more shadow cards to the snared enemies, and then the Orc Grunts are going to get a single shadow card for this attack. It just feels so good to only have 1 shadow card instead of 2 or 3. You just feel like you actually have a chance. Okay, so he's defending for 4 against 2. Oh, here we go. I got to discard the top 3 cards of my deck. He gets +1 attack for each different card type discarded. I hate this card. I really hate this shadow. Okay, we get an ally, an ally, and an ally. Well, dang. That stinks. That was a lot of willpower I just discarded. And with no Will of the West, I cannot shuffle them back into my deck. So that's going to hurt later. Like, when I discarded those 3 cards, I just knew that's going to hurt. I needed those cards in my hand. I needed to get the willpower on the table. That was a really nasty shadow. Okay, but I do draw another defender, so that's nice. So with a cost reduction of 2, I can put him into play. Remember, Amarthiel's gaining an extra resource every round. And then Master of the Forge lets me look at my top 5. I'm still looking for Steward. Oh, there it is. Okay, and I found Steward. So it would have been, I think it was my next card. All right, so Steward is now on Amarthiel, so every round he is going to be gaining 4 resources total. So now I can really start affording things, and with the cost reduction of Heir of Elendil, I could really flood the board of allies, but a lot of my allies are in my discard pile. Oh, it's so frustrating. All right, Favor of the Valar is going to be attached, so then if I ever threat out, I'm going to drop back down to 45. So let's spend the money for that, and let's go into the quest phase. All right, let's do some questing. So it's battle questing, which I actually can do really well. Vassal of the Windlord helps for sure. So I am going to be sending a bunch of battle on the quest. I can cancel a sorcery. hopefully this round doesn't go too bad. And we do get a sorcery. It's the Vile Affliction, so I got to deal damage among questing characters equal to the cost of the highest printed cost in my discard pile, which is a 5, because I believe Gandalf is in there, because I just discarded him. So there you go. I do make a mistake. I put a damage on the Ranger of Cardolan who did not quest, but I do fix that when I also fix my quest progress that I have made. So I get everything right eventually. But that was a sorcery, so Tharandir gets a second shadow card, and then everybody else gets one as well. This is going to leave me with 2 cards in my deck, my encounter deck. Okay, so quite the stack of cards underneath those trapped enemies. I mean, we're getting into double digits here. So now I got to make sure my threat is correct. It's hard to keep track of all this. And I make some more progress. So I'm going to clear the accursed battlefield and make a few more progress. And then I was going to engage one of those orcs, the orc that wasn't in the trap, and then I decide not to. So I had drug him down, and then I decided not to do that. Okay, so here we go. I am getting ready to go into the end of the round. My board state is a mess, and I draw Gandalf the next turn. Okay, Gandalf is great. So I'm glad to get a Gandalf in my hand finally. I really hated discarding the 1. Let's see what the Master of the Forge finds me. Great. Good, 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 good. More Ranger spikes. I want to trap as many enemies up in the staging area as possible. I do not want enemies engaging me when I advance to stage 2. So that was a great card to find with Master of the Forge. Here's my hand. That's a good hand. That's a good hand to have. And then because my encounter deck was empty, we're going to give it a shuffle. And then this is where I ended up having to take a break because of all the losses. I actually ran out of time to keep playing. And then at night, I was just watching the video on my phone that I was recording, and I realized I had made those mistakes. So here I am the next day correcting everything. So I have my progress set correctly. I think I was off by 4. I have moved the damage that should not have been on that Ranger to one of the questing characters. And we are going to go into the quest phase now. So we are questing with willpower, and I believe I have everything correct at this point. So I am very glad I was actually able to notice those mistakes and correct them before the game was over. And you can see I actually put tokens up on the enemies in staging to tell me how much threat they're contributing, something I should have been doing from the get-go. All right, so sending on the quest, I think I'm going to send 13 against 8. I don't think I will advance. In fact, I know I won't, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with another round after this one to get more allies into play, and I do reveal an enemy, so very happy about that. He's only 1 threat now. He draws me the Steward of Gondor. Okay, didn't need that. So that's great. He's only a 1 threat now because that trap reduces his threat by 2, and my... it's kind of funny. My progress goes right back to where I thought it was at the start of the turn. So I'm very glad I did all that. That worked out really well. Let's engage this guy now because I don't want tons of enemies engaging me and tons of attacks to deal with once I advance to stage 2. So maybe I can kill this guy with Gandalf next round or something. I'm just trying to get threat out of the staging area and get rid of all those shadow cards. I really didn't want him attacking me with 4 shadow cards the same round. I'm getting attacked twice by Tharandir. So let's defend this guy. I'm defending for 4. He's attacking for 4. And okay, that's great. That's great. No shadow. And then this shadow is +1 for each shadow card. Okay, so +3. Unfortunately, he does die. Okay, that will kill him. So I almost got out of there alive. No way to cancel the shadow, and he's dead. So that was unfortunate. I was hoping he could live and just keep defending that guy from this point on, but obviously that's not what happened. So I can't even damage him back because I only can attack for 3, and I don't want to waste my Vassal of the Windlord. I'm going to need his 3 attack to attack Tharandir, I believe. All right, next round. I have so many resources on Amarthiel, I got to use a token. So he has 10 resources. The card I draw is Adaron's Runes. That's great. let's use the Master of the Forge first before I play Daron's Runes to see what attachment I can find. Ooh, there's another Ranger Spikes. So, yep, got to keep trapping those enemies up in staging. That works really well. So let's give the deck a shuffle, and then we're going to play Daron's Runes and hopefully grab some more allies. I am lacking in the ally department for this quest. So Daron's Runes going into play, draw 2 cards. And I do have that Steward, so I do have a card to discard. Nope, I didn't really get anything I was looking for. So let's discard that Steward. I can put that Master of the Forge into play, though. So that might be happening. First, let's play our Trap. And then, yeah, why not? Let's play this second Master of the Forge. And we'll dig for another attachment. There's one attachment I would love to find, and that is my single copy of Celebrian Stone that I added after I had to discard both of my Songs of Travel. So with a pretty small deck, yeah, there it is. The odds were pretty good I was going to find it this turn or next. So Celebrian Stone is going to give Aragorn access to Spirit and +2 willpower. So I will spend 2 of Marty's resources, and then Aragorn is now questing for 5. So I'm going to put that token there to remind myself he's a 5er. And yep, I don't have many cards left. Sure wish I had Will of the West to shuffle back in all those allies and card draw, because I'd be able to snag them pretty quick. Okay, to the quest. We're using willpower, and I'm probably advancing this round. So let's go. There's no point in trying to bury the entire encounter deck because I can't play a bunch of cards that are trapped in my discard pile. All right, we revealed another accursed battlefield. Odds are pretty good we're going to see that because a lot of the cards are trapped underneath enemies, so it's just going to be a lot of the cards we've already seen. Okay, we're going to raise each player's threat by X, where X is the number of shadow cards in play, which is a lot. And then if Tharandir is the captain, he's going to flip. So this is where Favor of the Valar is going to save me. I'm going to have to raise my threat by, I don't know, like 20 or something. So I'm going to drop it back down to 45 after threading out. So thank you, Favor of the Valar. You did exactly what I needed you to do. And then now I still have Aragorn to drop me back down in the refresh phase. Okay, let's flip Tharandir. He's going to make an attack against me. And he has 3 shadow cards. So that's fun. I'm going to get attacked by 6 with 3 shadow cards. And I have no way to cancel any of these shadows. So whoever defends is dead. So who wants to die? I don't really want anyone to die, to be honest. So I will do the East Road Ranger. Man, I just really wish I had more allies in play. That is the one thing that did not happen. Okay, no shadow on that. No shadow there. Wow. Okay, that was extremely lucky, and I'm very glad to see a copy of Heavy Curse get discarded. So, couldn't have asked for that to go any better. Okay, I lose the Ranger. Okay, here we go. 15 quest points needed. Tharandir can't leave the staging area. He's considered to be engaged with each player, and he attacks each player in turn in the combat phase. At the end of the round, if he is captain side face up, we flip him. And then, while this quest card has 15 progress on it or more, we lose the word indestructible from Tharandir, which means he will actually die. So then we win the game if we have no hit points remaining on Tharandir. So basically, I need to make 15 progress, and I need to have 9 damage on Tharandir. As long as those 2 things have happened, I will win. Okay, I am not going to travel to the accursed battlefield because questing with attack is not a good idea right now. I need to be damaging Tharandir. So let's deal out shadow cards. And every enemy is minus 10 engagement, but the enemies in the staging area are trapped, so they do not make engagement checks. So that's great. All right, sneak attack. Gandalf. Gandalf will do 4 damage to Tharandir when he gets snuck in, because he is not immune to player card effects. He's just indestructible. Okay, so now, how to handle this. I have 2 attacks coming, so I will defend 4 against 4, this time with only 1 shadow. Oh, man. Okay. Discard the top 3 cards, plus 1 attack for each different card type discarded. I really, really don't want to be discarding my cards. Ah, God, it really sucks. I knew I had that other sneak attack, and I knew I had a vassal in there. Oh, that hurts so bad. Okay, so he got +2 attack. So I actually live, and I'm actually defending for an additional defense because Tharandir is considered engaged with me. So that would actually boost his defense by 1. So I do drop that damage down to 1 in a moment. All right, I am going to have my vassal defend. I don't want Gandalf to die. And the shadow is attacking enemy gets +1. If it destroys an ally, return attacking enemy to the staging area. Okay, I didn't want Gandalf to die because I need to play him next turn. And there are plenty of shadows that could have killed him. So there I realized he was actually defending for an extra defense. And now we can attack back. So I could kill that Carn Dum Guardian guy. But I honestly think I just got to go for the win and just do as much damage to Tharandir as I can. So I am going to attack for 7. 3 goes through. And then we are going to end the round. And I should be discarding all those shadow cards that are still in play. I do remember to do that next round. But I should have done it right now. Okay, I'm going to trigger Aragorn and drop myself back down to my starting threat of 31. So threat is no longer an issue, and we are going to go to the next round. So Gandalf is back in my hand, and I have plenty of resources, but not a lot of stuff to spend money on. Let's just throw cards, I guess. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, I do get a Watcher, so I can cancel a Shadow. I'm not going to use my Masters of the Forge, because I literally think there's no attachments that I could actually grab. Gandalf will come into play full cost. Would have been nice to have that sneak attack. And he is actually going to draw me 3 cards. Because dealing the damage to Tharandir would be great. He'd have his 9 damage, but there's no possible way I could make 15 progress. So I'm going to have to try to kill him the old-fashioned way. But did you see those cards I drew? 3 allies? Finally! Okay, so I'm engaged with 3 enemies, so I can put her in for free, and she draws me 3 cards. So that's it. I have drawn everything. I do have another Test of Will, so that's really nice. And let's just get some allies on the board. So I'm finally, at the last gasp here, the last second, getting allies on the table. Spending full cost for another Ranger of Cardolan. There's no reason to wait. I have the resources. I'm going to put the Watcher into play, also full cost. So I am going to quest as hard as I can. I got to make as much willpower as possible. And then hopefully kill Tharandir next round, I think. I'm not 100% sure how many rounds it's going to take me to do this, but really this is it. My board can't get much better than this. I've played pretty much every card that I could, so this is what I have to work with. So there I go. I'm questing there, and we get the deal damage equal to the highest card in my discard pile. Okay, so that would be a 5 damage among questing characters. That's not the worst. I'm not going to cancel that. I can handle that 5 damage. And he is the champion side, so I don't deal shadow cards out. And then when I do realize that I shouldn't have left all those shadow cards in play, I'm actually questing against 1 less threat because those Carn Dum Guardians lose threat if they lose shadow cards from underneath them. Okay, so Tharandir healed 3 damage, and now he is going to attack. Okay, so the attacking enemy gets +1, +3 if my threat was higher. It didn't matter. I defended with a Master of the Forge. So thank you, Master of the Forge. You did a great job. And then here I am trying to figure out how much progress I actually made. And it looks like I made 8 of the 15. So like I said, there really wasn't any way I could have easily made 7 more progress. It just didn't seem like a good bet. And then that sorcery healed him anyway. Okay, so if the attacking enemy is Tharandir, he heals even more. So now he's almost completely healed, but I think I will cancel that shadow. I'm going to leave that damage on him. So I'm going to have the Watcher get discarded and not heal him 3. So my other Master of the Forge is dead, and then now I have to discard the top 3 cards in my deck. Well, joke's on you. I don't have any cards in my deck. Okay, so now let's do some damage. I can do a whole bunch. So 4 + 3 + 2 -4 defense. So 5 damage goes through. which puts me exactly where I need to be. He has 9 damage. So, as long as I place the progress next round, I will win. I don't have Gandalf anymore, so, I mean, I'm going to have to quest pretty hard. There I am realizing all the shadow should have went away, and I should have had 1 more progress. So, yeah, this is it. I'm just going to go into the next round. There's no cards to draw. I can play 1 more ally out of my hand, so it's the Northern Trekker. So he'll be questing for 2. And we just have to hope that we don't reveal a sorcery, because if we do, he's going to heal and attack, and then we're going to have to defend a second attack and hopefully damage him. It's possible. I just really don't want a sorcery. So, and I got a quest for, I got to make 6 progress. So, I mean, it's going to be close. It's going to be very close. So that's me saying, like, that's where I need to be at the very least. And I have to assume I'm revealing another card that's going to add threat. So whatever I move the willpower token there. Okay, so I moved it 4 more than what I need. So as long as I don't reveal more than 4 threat, and as long as it's not a sorcery, I will win. And we get... Oh, yes, it's the Accursed Battlefield. Okay, that is great. So I make 2 more progress than I needed. It wasn't a sorcery. I have made my 15 progress. I have 9 damage on Tharandir. That's a win. Oh, thank God. Okay, I'm done with this thing. We're done with the quest. We did it. Moving on. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.